Libra, this is Amanda Nardozzi. Thanks for hopping into here. This reading is going to be for April 22nd to April 28th. Just be aware that if you are affected by the phases of the moon, or if you follow the cycles of the moon, or if you like astrology, full moon in Scorpio is coming up on the 23rd. So just be mindful, apply that to your astrology chart, your sign, go look at your favorite astrologer, figure out how that works for you if that's something that you follow. So today's reading is going to be a little bit more of an intuitive flow. So less focused on a spread and more just following some channel messages that would come through. We're going to start with the tarot, get into some oracle cards. We're going to go back to the tarot for a little bit and then hit some angel dice. So while I'm shuffling, go ahead and connect with your angels, your spirit guides, your spirit team. Figure out which messages belong to you. Use your intuition. You know your situation best. And we'll just get right into it. You have the same focal point in your reading as Gemini. I always say this. I feel like I'm like a broken record when I say this, but a lot of the same element signs, so like a lot of the fire signs, a lot of the air signs, they will have similar messages, which is interesting. But we'll see what gets channeled through. The Knight of Pentacles is in your, I'm hearing have faith. Which is interesting. Gemini had hope, and it's almost like for you, you're still doing your thing. You're still going to put your energy out there, but it's almost like have faith that it's going to produce something. Some of you might have already taken that leap of faith, but for the Knight of Pentacles, I see some of you stalling a little bit. I see you like, for whatever reason, it's like you pull the reins back on the horse because it's almost like you don't want to throw, like the Knight of Pentacles is all about exploring. It's all about trying new things. It's about throwing your seeds out into the fertile lands and seeing what grows. And when this is the main focus, it's almost like you want to create something new, but I'm hearing like there are pressures, and I feel like a pressure on yourself, but I also feel like external pressures too. I almost feel like there are outside catalysts or stimuluses or something, or stimuli that are like putting pressure on you to like not make this happen. And it's almost like you're seeing some obstacles that could be a problem later, and you're like pulling on the reins a little bit, because you're also taking pros and cons into consideration. You have justice and you have the moon, and it's almost like you're weighing whether this energy that you put out there to create something, whether it's worth it or not. But it's almost like you're unsure because the moon, it's almost like don't let the moon convince you otherwise. The moon brings a lot of energy of confusion. It's almost like you have this idea of how it's going to go. This is just straight channel now. You have this idea of how it's going to go, but it's not going to work out the way that you think because it's based in fears. Not necessarily, I'm hearing, might not be out of logic. These are workings of the mind, the fears of the mind, and you need to break free from that. It's almost like I'm getting like an Eight of Swords energy of somebody who can't see the way forward or feels trapped or feel like there's going to be a certain outcome when there's not. So with justice, it's almost like you're doing your best to be fair, like you want to give yourself a fair chance to create and explore, and I'm hearing change. A lot of you want to change your situation, and you're embracing the Knight of Pentacles to do that, but you are almost kind of taking it into balance. Justice is the Libra card because it has the scales. So this is something that you're probably used to doing very often. I see this being in the seat of your sign. So this is like the justice energy, like not that you're indecisive. Some of you, this could display as indecisiveness, but I feel like some of you can weigh the pros and cons forever and not quite make a decision from it and be kind of indecisive. I feel like for a lot of you though, you could be decisive, and this is just like how you figure out whether you want to do things or not. You make lists. And you find joy in that. It's almost like it keeps you organized. It keeps you focused. It keeps you like looking at this. And it's almost like I'm seeing someone who has this pros and cons, but it's almost like even though the cons outweigh the pros, like a lot of the cons come from fear and a lot of it's by chance. So it's not necessarily going to influence you. It might not influence you because I think it's all like depending on certain, like it's like certain items in that con list only happen by chance, and you're really, for whatever reason, doing your best, like your fears are expanding that con list. But it's because you don't see the way forward. But the other side of the moon is, yes, there's a lot of confusion, but the other side of the moon lends a lot of intuition. So there's confusion, but needing to use your intuition to guide you through the moon. There's still a path. There's still a journey. The scorpion is the fear, but as you can see, these, I think they're wolves or coyotes. I'm not sure, but these two animals, they're howling at the moon. They have to follow their intuition with the moon. They have to follow that little sparkle dust up there of like hope and faith. They still follow the path. Yeah, the fears are there, but it's almost behind them. So you can choose to ignore them and to not see them. That would be the display of courage, not necessarily having fears completely absent, but moving forward in spite of the fears, right? You also have the Ten of Cups parallel with the King of Wands. The Ten of Cups is feeling very emotionally abundant, feeling like you could not be in a more joyous place than you are now. And it's almost like if you're not feeling like that already, it's almost like you are stepping into a space where, or at least you're creating a space, I'm hearing, where you can do that. Some of you, this is quite literally creating a physical space where you can feel emotionally at peace. For a lot of you, it's almost like you're getting into like a sacred space, or it's like you're developing the habit of, you know, when you need to rest or recharge, you go back to this space and you're like, this is me, this is where I want to be, and you feeling your best here, right? When it's paralleled with the King of Wands, it tells me that it's almost like when you recharge at this space, it gives you confidence. This sacred space helps give you that boost of confidence, that boost of creativity. The King of Wands, it's almost like some of you might actually be a showman, I'm hearing, or like you have showmanship, but again, coming back to that space to recharge, some of you actually feel your best when you're being a showman, when you are like performing for other people, and this could be in any sense of the word. This could be like a singer, a magician, a something or other. Like they're giving me somebody who likes the display, they like the attention, but not in the bad type of way. They like entertaining people. Some of you could be in theater. I'm hearing some of you could be like theater kids. You could be theater kids as a kid, like when you were younger at school. Some of you could really enjoy like voice acting or something. So it's almost like you're feeling your most fulfilled when you are entertaining other people. And again, for those of you that doesn't apply to, it does really just feel like making that sacred space to come forward, like to come back to yourself and get that confidence. But I'm getting a strong message of showmanship for a lot of you. We're going to pull some oracle cards, Libra, and see what's going on. If there are any extra messages, any surprises, any way forward. We're going to revisit the tarot here in a little bit. You have frog spirit, clear out the clutter. Sorry. I'm hearing clear out the gutter too. So like for a lot of you, you might actually, it might be warm enough to actually clear out the gutter or like clean the outsides of your house. This is just like, I do feel like for whatever reason, this is like a physical space. So again, when you're creating that sacred space, or when you're creating a space where you feel good, where you feel replenished, where you feel confident, you don't want to be staring at a bunch of mess. You don't want to be staring at a sink full of dishes or piles of laundry. This is almost giving me the energy of someone who quite literally just needs to clean their physical space in order to feel spiritually cleansed. For other people, this is just getting rid of those doubts, clearing out the moon energy, or just even just ignoring it. Understand that it's there, accept it, and then it's almost like, all right, I get that there are fears here, but make the decision to go forward anyway. It's scary, yes, but at the same time, it can be incredibly empowering to say, fuck yeah, let's do this. Let's get into that, you know? Let's do it anyway just to see. That in itself, when you decide anyway and make a very clear decision, it is very swords energy of making a clear, distinct decision. Sometimes that's enough to cancel out a lot of the fears that you're having, because when we double back on our decisions or the things that we want to do based on our doubts and fears, it almost kind of feels like we're taking our power away a little bit and we're just giving it off. You know, it's just, I don't know, it just feels like, I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's almost like when we surrender to our fears, that does take a little bit of our power away. I don't really know, you could make so many arguments as to where that power goes, but it's almost like you're surrendering to your circumstances, and you definitely don't want to do that. I don't see you like turning to that. Just understand that when you make that decision, sometimes that's all it takes is to make that swift decision and decide, I'm going to do this, and that does silence a lot of the fears. For some of you, it does end up a little more pronounced, but that would be the energy to work on clearing, to try to go for what you want anyway, despite those fears. You also have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. This definitely falls in line with that thing coming to mind of showmanship. Some of you might be your most emotionally fulfilled when you share yourself with other people, when you share your authentic voice. Even if you declare yourself an introvert and like hide behind, you know, your walls and write a book or something, regardless of what it is, it's almost like when you share your work, it almost gives you like this rush. I'm hearing like you get a thrill from it. So that being said, you know, it's time for you to step out, because this is how you really live. This is where your joy actually is through expressing yourself and finding connection through other people who feel the same way. And it's almost like your voice, when you share it, helps other people. It helps other people along their journey. Some of you, I'm getting, are light workers, and some of you just need to share parts of your life. Some of you just need to, like, I'm not going to say like, no, yeah, I am going to say post to social media more. As for some of you who like love sharing your life, but you don't post too much, like you might, like, I mean, maybe in the past, it's almost like I feel someone who's surrendered to likes before and been like, oh my gosh, I didn't get as many likes as the other person. Just understand that if you don't post on something like Facebook or Instagram for a while, just understand that the algorithm's a little weird. Like, you're not going to show up on people's feeds right off the bat because, you know, it's not like If you're not active, they don't show you up first, if that makes sense. You have to have your settings on in a very specific way. And I know Facebook's really finicky with that. And it's not about the likes anyway. It's just about getting yourself out there and sharing yourself, because those few comments that are left, or like just the very act of expressing yourself and getting used to that, like consistency does help bring more attention to you as well. But it's not really the attention that we want to focus on. It's that feeling of connection, that feeling of helping out someone else, that feeling of being heard. We all want to be heard. Just understand that consistency might be behind that if you are looking to grow your content, or if you are in content creation anyway and you're looking to grow that, or if you are just somebody who wants to express yourself and you're like, I'm tired of keeping quiet, I'm tired of being my little introverted self, like I love me, but you know what, it's time to start sharing what I have. You also have do the work. So whatever it is you're thinking about, it does include a lot of work. You have a lot of vitality, I'm hearing, like your solar plexus chakra feels very strong. And again, I do feel that sense of confidence coming up. There is a sense of confidence that lives in you. This is something that you've already learned to develop. It's just a matter of making that decision to bring it out into the open, to do the work, to actually show yourself up to other people. You also have Lamb. I'm going to pull the book on Lamb because it's been a while since I've touched this book and touched this deck. So let's open this up. I love the description that's in this book too. So let's see. This is a ground spirit. Peaceful, prophetic, patient. The Lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Though the Lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, receive. When in balance, knowingness and inner peace. When out of balance, quiet, timid, and concerned. To bring into balance, meditation and listening. So for some of you, this showmanship is quite literally spirit channeling messages directly through you. If you are somebody who writes, if you're somebody who does art, if you're somebody who shares your authentic voice through like Instagram or different social media pages or something like that, or YouTube, like there's just something about needing to express yourself because there is something divine in that. There is something like a message that spirit wants other people to hear. You came to this earth feeling that fulfillment from showmanship for a reason. It's because you have something to share. It's because you are meant to make a positive impact on people. There is something being channeled through divinely here. So just keep that in mind. Some of you might be looking into spiritual work or being quite literally a channel for somebody else. You are quite literally receiving direct messages that relate to people. For others of you, your life experiences are meant to be that guidance. Like the things that you experience in life are meant to be shared with other people, and that is meant to be that guidance. Or like maybe the life that you live, it's almost like I see people admiring the way that you live because you are where somebody else wants to be. And when they see that, it's almost like they feel inspired and they make efforts to change their lives for the better. And that almost feels like something, for whatever reason, that very specific thing came through. So it's almost like you could be like, Spirit's going to challenge you. Spirit's going to challenge you, but in a way that's like, we want you to see how special you are, so we're going to push you towards this way of life, so get ready. Like, if this is something you want, we are pushing you. You're feeling it for a reason. Despite these fears, I feel like you're going in headstrong. Like, you're just head in. I see you quite literally falling into the well, head in, but like in a good type of way. Like, it's just a rush of fire and creative inspiration that I feel is like, very much like in this card, Do the Work. When he's holding the flame in his hand, I literally see you falling headfirst into something, but then all of a sudden, something, like it just feels like a sudden rush of flame of creativity just coming up, and you're like, wow, I really like this. It's like, it might take a minute of darkness, like very, very small, but it's very brief, then all of a sudden, whoosh, all this creativity comes up. You also have 177 we're going to pull from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. I always read these messages twice, and then we're going to close out your reading. Your intentions are being heard loud and clear. God is guiding you. Your intentions are being heard loud and clear. God is guiding you. So again, you are speaking your prayers. You are speaking the things that you want. You have very clear, distinct, I feel like you've been speaking your fears more than something you've actually been wanting. And it's almost like, please don't let this happen. Please don't let that happen. Or please let this go well. But it's almost coming from a perspective of lack, or it's coming from a perspective of, I'm going to fail, or that belief that you could fail, or that it's more likely that you will fail, or that something you try won't get a lot of traction, or it won't earn you that abundance. And Spirit's like, just put it down. It's okay. Just tell us where you want to be, and we will put the steps in to get you there. And that is just a lot of trust. But that you do have to do your part and do the work by acting on these feelings of inspiration that you get. You will have fear if you are not used to coming out of your bubble, if you are not used to doing the work when it comes to this venture, this new adventure that you want to try, even if it's not a new adventure, something that's been sitting in your energy for a while, you will encounter fears because there's a reason you haven't done what you were doing before. And it's because there were either fears in the way or you let something else stop you. That's okay. Life happens, life goes on. But there is this energy of you will encounter fears if you are doing something new because it's just an energetic exchange. It's a change. And when we go through change, it's a transitionary time where we feel the energy. It's weird. We're not used to things and, we imagine the worst happening because we want to protect ourselves. And that's fine, but Spirit's asking you to push through it anyway. And again, that King of Wands, you're a showman, yes, but this has resilience with it. Kings are resilient. They got to their title for a reason. They earned it. They earned their place in the kingdom. And I feel like you are already embodying this king energy already. It's just a matter of acting and saying, I'm not going to hide in the shadows anymore. I'm going to come out and share my voice. I'm going to come out and share what I have learned. I'm going to share through my creations. So however that applies, take it however it resonates. That being said, Libra, that was your reading. I hope it helped. I'm very excited. Leave a comment if what are you creating or what are you trying to do? I would love to know. Like and subscribe if it resonated with you. I will be here doing readings every week and I sprinkle some collectives in between. So that being said, I love you, I love you, I love you, Libra, and I'll see you next time. Bye.